Hello my creative friends. In today's video I'm going to share with you how I made this simple, quick, easy holiday hat that you can wear during the Christmas season or just to be a little bit festive. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Deborah and I'm the hands behind Taylor's Yarn Creations. And to begin, I'm going to share with you the materials you're going to need for this hat. I'm going to make a green one just so that you can see how fast this works up. To begin, you'll need, of course, 4-ply yarn in 3 colors, and I'm using the red, the green, and the white, as you can see here. And of course, they're all different brands. I don't have the tags for any of them. I believe this one is Red Heart. This one, I can't remember which one. This is like an off-brand. And this one was Impeccable. So I'm using just 4-ply yarn. As long as the weight or the thickness of the yarn is pretty much the same, I think it works up well. And it helps you get rid of some of your supply. So you will need those. And I'm going to start with the green, so I'm going to put that over to the side. You'll need a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook, crochet hook. I don't think you can see it whenever it is. Kind of has that little embossed or raised lettering. But that's a size I. You'll need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. And I'll link the pattern below, as this is something I kind of made up just off the top of my head. I thought, let's make a holiday hat, something I can wear. I've already started the circle, and this circle measures going the width-wise, the circumference, I think that's what it's called, but the width of this is 6.5 inches, and it's the same here on the red. It's about 6.5 inches. So they measure pretty much the same. So I have to do a little bit of weaving, but they measure about the same. So once you get your hat size, if you want a little bit smaller size, you can either change the size of your crochet hook, or you can reduce the number of rows that you go around. But now I'm at the size of the width that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take my crochet hook again, and I'm going to just continue this pattern. And this pattern is worked in rounds. I slip stitch to join, and I'm going to, at this point, work in the back loop only. So I'm going to start by chaining 2, and then I'm going to, I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to do a double crochet, which I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to insert into that first back loop, yarn over, pull it back through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's my first. Yarn over, pull through the second. That's the second. That's a double crochet. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And so if you go ahead and do that, I can meet you at the end of the round. But like I said, I've already done the circle, so you're going to want to go ahead and start creating a circle, and based on the measurements of the top part of your head, which 6.5 is the width of this. This makes it about a medium or a large size hat. If you need something smaller, 6.0 is probably about a small to a medium size. So that's what you will need to do in order to know what the width is for your hat. And I have that listed in my pattern, which I will link below. So go ahead and continue in the back loop only all the way around. And I will meet you at the end to continue. I'm doing this just for the sake of time and the length of this video. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, now I'm at the end of this row. This is row 7. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch it by putting it at the top of that first insert in both, under both stitches of the first, chain 2, yarn over, pull it through, and pull it through again to do a slip stitch. Now for the next 2 rows, rows 8 and 9, I'm going to work under both loops, and I'm just going to do a double crochet stitch. At the end of each row, I'm going to slip stitch to join, and then I'm going to, like I say, do that for 2 rows, but at the end of row 9, I'm going to change the color to red. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few stitches just so that you see what I'm doing, and then I will meet you at the end of row 9 so that I can show you how I do the color change. So I just chain 2 to begin this next row, yarn over, and then in the same stitch here I'm going to put my, insert my hook, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more again, and just under both loops instead of the back loop, I'll just do the double crochet, and I will continue that all the way around. I do want to say that I know that in some cases, there are some individuals who use like the bulky size 5 yarn, but I'm using the 4-ply. I find that it keeps your head just as warm. You could use a smaller crochet hook if you wanted to, like a size H. I wouldn't go too small because then your head will be too small and your stitches may not come out as the way you like it, and it would take you a little bit longer to complete your actual pattern than if you use the stitches and the yarn weight and the crochet hook size that I'm using. And I know, like, when I've seen some patterns that use a size H and they use the bulky yarn, or they use size H and they use this 4-ply. I know when I created my bucket hats, that's what I used, the size, I believe, H or G. I may have used a smaller hook and just kind of went through the process of creating my hat. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I'm doing just double crochet in both loops all the way around. This is row 8 now, and I will meet you back at the end of row 9 where we will change the color to red. Since I've already done the red hat, this is going to be the green one. And I'll see you in a moment. Okay, now I'm at the end of row 9. I have my red yarn ready. I'm not going to use as much red because I'm only going to need just a little bit for the band. I'm going to go ahead and insert the hook as if I'm going to do a slip stitch. And I'm going to drop that green. And I'm going to bring my red into place. And I'm going to leave just a little tail. It doesn't matter how long because it's going to be trimmed anyway. And I'm going to hold on to my green and my little red tail a little bit. And then I'm just going to hold it. It's a little tricky if you've never done the color change. But I'm going to bring it through as if I'm doing a slip stitch, and then bring it back through. And that's my joining of the yarn and changing of the color. So I'm going to just take my red, just so I can make sure that I have it locked in. And I'm going to go ahead, and this time I'm about to do a slight change in stitches. I'm going to do the half double crochet for the band, and then row 11 I'm going to do a single crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and just chain 1 just to lock it in place, and I'm going to drop a little bit of both And I'm going to just trim my green because I will not be needing it and I don't need it in my way. I will weave in the ends at the end of my project. So I want to go ahead and I have my little green tail and I have the red tail, and they're a little bit longer. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to weave in as much as I can by crocheting it into the stitch itself, and then I'll trim it, and if I need to I'll weave it, but most of the time I'm just going to trim it. So I'll go ahead with the pattern that I started with, which is a half double, which I'm going to yarn over, bring it back into that same stitch, and here I am, as you can see, I'm kind of putting the two tails on top, and I'm holding it with my thumb, and then I'm going to yarn over and grab that red, bring it back through like that, and then I'm going to yarn over and bring it back through all through 3 stitches, and that's my half double. Then again I'm going to do that again. I'm holding if you haven't done this, it's a little tricky. If you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. It's really easy for you. So this is just for those who haven't done a color change before and that aren't really comfortable or know how to weave in the tails as you crochet. So I'm going to yarn over again, insert the hook. As you can see, my 2 tails in front, yarn over, bring through, then bring through all 3. And I'm going to continue that all the way around. And so it works up pretty fast. Like I said, this hat works up pretty fast. And it's a basic stitch of half double, double crochet, single crochet stitches. This is a pattern that I just kind of made up as I was thinking about having something kind of festive for the holidays. So at this point, I'm going to kind of move my 2 tails out the way. I may weave them in some more, or I may just trim it because I have it pretty much hidden inside the stitches itself. So I will continue on with the pattern of half double crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back at the end. So this red is starting to make it look really festive now, and I've finished row 10, and now I'm going to start on row 11. And with this, I just do a single crochet stitch around, and then I'm going to change it back to the green color, and I will do a couple stitches, and then I will meet you back at the end where I will do the color change back to green, and then we will probably get ready for the last few rows which will be in the white color. So I'm just going to chain 1 and then single crochet in each stitch around for the red band. I do want to caution you though, as you're crocheting, sometimes it's real easy to crochet 2 stitches into 1, so you always want to make sure that your stitches are the same count all the way around. I think if you make a mistake, I don't think the police will come out and arrest you or anything like that. If you just happen to make double stitches in one particular 2 stitches in one stitch is what I'm trying to say. If you do an increased stitch, which is what it would basically turn out to be, nothing would happen. It's just that you want to be consistent. You want your hat to not be off in any way. So at the end of each row, go ahead and count it and just make sure that you are still have the same amount of stitches. In this particular case, I should have 60 stitches at the end. So at the end of each row, I just count to make sure that I didn't add or subtract anything, because sometimes the more you do it, the faster you can go, but the faster you go, the more mistakes you could possibly make in the process as you are crocheting. Even when you think you are really, really good or you've counted everything, being exhausted or tired can cause all kinds of mistakes. I've done it before myself, and it's been really interesting to see at the end of a stitch that you have too many, and then it starts looking off, and then you have to subtract or add to it, which no one knows but you. But there's something I want to just kind of caution you with. So go ahead and finish the single crochet. I'll meet you at the end where we will do a color change back to the green. So I'm back at the end, and in this case I'm just going to do a little bit different. You can do however you want. I'm just going to kind of drop my crochet hook, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave a little bit of a tail and cut it and move the red out of the way and bring my green back into the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that red tail just so I don't lose it, tighten it just slightly, and put my green tail next to it, kind of folding it, using my hands to hold everything in place. I'm going to insert the hook back into that. Sometimes it can be a little bit stubborn, especially when you have these the crochet hook without the little point to it. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it and use my hands, my fingers. Go ahead and insert it into the stitch that I'm going to slip stitch it to, and I'm going to use my hands to wrap the green around and bring it through. Stubborn, especially if you're trying to record. And I'm just kind of holding it, and there's a tail here. Tighten both slightly. Bring the green through. Real nice and pretty like that. Tighten it. Use my left hand to tighten it. I'm holding on to I'm using my hand as a tension rod to bring tension. Yarn over, and I'm going to go ahead and start this row, which is row 12. I'm going to chain 2 because I'm going back to the double crochet stitch. And I have my 2 tails here. They're pretty long, but I'm going to use a couple stitches, maybe about 6 or 7 stitches, to and weave them in as I continue this row. Here there's no increases. I'm just doing a double crochet stitch. I'm going back into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Like I said, no increases. I'm just going into each stitch with a double crochet stitch. And I'm going to do this all the way around, weaving in some of the ends. I may weave it in some more, or I may just cut it, because as I'm crocheting and I'm weaving in the ends, it's holding it. Sometimes I know weaving it back and forth a little bit more will give it more security, but it's just an individual preference and how you want to do that. So like I said, I'm going all the way around, and I'm going to slip stitch at the end of this row, and then I'm going to change it to the final color. So I will meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've added another row with a color change to white. They're double crochet stitches all the way around, joined with a slip stitch. And for rows 14, 15, and 16, it's going to be an increased stitch of double crochet stitches, and I will show you how I'm going to do row 14. You'll increase it in row 15, 16, and then you'll finish it with a single crochet stitch and your hat will be done. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll chain 2. I'll do a double crochet stitch in the same stitch, and then I will increase it, do an increased stitch in the next stitch, which is 2 double crochet stitches in the same stitch. Then I will do 5 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to do an increased stitch by putting 2 double crochet stitches in the same stitch. And then I'm going to do 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then I'm going to increase, and I'm going to do that all the way around. For the next row, I'm going to do an increase, and then I'll do 6, and then the next row 7, and then I will finish row 17 with a single crochet stitch. So just to save time, I want to go ahead and do that, and I will show you my completed hat slightly at the end. Instead of doing 17 rows, I did 16, which means I did the double here. I increased by 5, increased by 6, and then I ended with the single crochet stitch because I don't want it to be too long of a, I guess the little brim or edging here. But that's this hat. It worked up really fast. Here's the first one I made. As you can see, it only has 2. This one has 3. So you can make it as long of a trim or edge or brim as you like, or as short as you would like. So here's the 2 hats. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.